What's up, guys? It's Nate, One Man's Odyssey. I'm doing a day hike here. If you're new to my channel, I primarily hike in New Mexico, but generally in the greater American Southwest. Today, I'm hiking at Mount Charleston, or also known as Charleston Peak, which is in southern Nevada near Las Vegas. I'm here for work, here for about a week. Decided to take a day to myself to hike this mountain. I've wanted to do it for a long time, for reasons maybe I'll get into later. But so far, we've switched back a bunch, we've gained a bunch of elevation, and I'm feeling pretty good right now. It was a little bit hard getting going, especially because it was rather warm down at the trailhead, but now we're up here, the breeze is hitting us, feels pretty good. We got about a 4:40 a.m. start, which seemed to be what all the cool kids were doing. There were at least two other people started right around the time I did. They leaped out ahead of me. I was a little slow, like I said, getting my bearings. I think it's supposed to be really hot in Las Vegas today, like 102. But up here, I was seeing on the peak, weather was in the low 50s. So we've got a nice array of temperatures here. So I'm curious to know, for you guys, what is a peak that you want to hike that is outside your home state that you are willing to take a trip to go do? Hard mode would be not obvious peaks like, say, Mount Whitney. The reasons why I want to hike Mount Charleston, for one, it is, you know me, I'm a prominence nut, and Mount Charleston, I want to say, is the 8th most prominent peak in the lower 48, so that's pretty awesome. It's only, I think, it's not even 12,000 feet, but it has a huge prominence because I think we're kind of in like the low desert in Las Vegas. I don't know what constitutes high desert or not. The other reason is that I was a really big fan of the Fallout games growing up. One of the games takes place in Las Vegas, and one of the cooler areas of the map I always thought was when you come up to Mount Charleston to do stuff up there. So it's kind of fun to come to this place in real life, so to speak. All right, I have a feeling it is switchback time. All right, made it to the saddle, and if I remembering Charleston's elevation correctly, we're 1,000 feet or less from the top. I'm gonna go up there and take a break. Okay, I just got done having a bit of a snack, drinking a ton of water. Definitely needed up here. As you can maybe tell by my attire, weather is night and day versus down at the trailhead. Down at the trailhead, I don't know what it was. For some reason, my rental car is in Celsius. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Celsius. It was like 28, I think, which I think is probably about 75 degrees. It also felt humid Up here, it's dry, it's freezing cold. It's probably like in the low 50s, but with a pretty serious wind chill because we're on the other side of the mountain now because we are on the crest. So the wind's blowing in from the west, really making things cold. Of course, I'm super sweaty, so that's not helping anything, but I got my light wind rain layer on. I got my gloves out, I got my hood on, and I got sunscreen, but it's not really working properly. So it's kind of good that it's a little chilly because I'm going to need this stuff to keep the sun off my face anyway. We're about to get above tree line firmly, I believe, so I'm sure there'll be tons of excellent views there. Because of the wind, you probably won't hear me talk too much from here on out, but I'll try to say a few things. We're gonna head up to the peak. We got, like I said, about 1,000 feet to go, and I think it's like 2 or 3 miles one way. So clear skies for the most part, like 0% chance of rain all day. I think there was like very, very minimal chance of rain in the afternoon, like a 5% chance at 4 o'clock. It's about 7:15 right now, so we're gonna be good, I think. Cross your fingers anyway. Let's keep going. Still just cruising along. I'm kind of blocked from the wind now a little bit, so it's warmed up. We lost a little bit of elevation. We're about to regain it, but not much. Like 50 feet, maybe 100 feet. The summit is behind the false peak. I haven't checked my GPS, so I don't know how much elevation we have, but I'm guessing 500 feet or so. All right, I believe the final push to Charleston Peak. I think it's about a mile away. We've probably got about 400 to 500 feet of elevation to gain, maybe less. I was definitely wrong way back at the saddle when I said 2 to 3 miles. It was probably more like 4 to 5 miles. This is a long trail, one way. Sources sort of disagree wildly. But usually I see things between 16 and 18 miles. 5,000 feet of elevation gain roughly. So for those who don't know, I did break my ankle in June of 2023 playing softball, not hiking. So I always have to take things a little slow, have to manage pain. It's been less than a year since I learned how to walk again, so I'm not 100%, but obviously I would not be doing an 18-mile hike with 5,000 feet of elevation gain if I weren't feeling pretty good. There are some clouds coming overhead. I'm going to hope that it's nothing. These ultras tend to kind of create their own weather and cloud coverage. So I'm going to trust the forecast. It says 0% chance. And I think if there is rain, it might just be a tiny sprinkle. We're nearing the summit. We're pretty close now. A couple hundred feet vertically, maybe half a mile. We're coming on the remains of a plane crash that I think happened in the late 50s. Oh, I can't even remember the model plane it was, but I believe it was a CIA plane headed to the Groom Lake facility, which is currently more known as Area 51. It's extremely sad that those people lost their lives. This is effectively a gravesite, so I don't really feel like poking around it. But we will have a little moment of silence for those people who lost their lives serving the country. Oh yeah, quad and glute workout time. It's probably doesn't look as steep on camera as it does in real life, but we're burning up probably 400 feet or so to the summit. We did lose a little elevation on the ridge. pretty windy. Here's Old Glory. Let's go hit the summit. Sorry for the wind. Right, I am behind the windscreen right now, or the wind shelter, which is why it doesn't sound very windy. Very, very windy outside of the shelter. Normally, if you watch my channel a lot, you know that when I get to the top of a peak, I'll say a few words and then I'll show the summit, just all the views, and label everything. I'm not going to do that, I don't think, because I'm not familiar at all with, you know, Southern California, Southern Nevada, Northwestern Arizona. I wouldn't know what these things are. Obviously, I could look them up later, but that's kind of a lot of work to like try to identify peaks that you're not familiar with. I do that. I do look stuff up when I'm in New Mexico or something because I'm very familiar with those areas. But here, I wouldn't know what anything is. It wouldn't be worth it. Plus, it's really hazy out anyway. I think probably the wind combined with the dry dust just kicks up, and plus the smog from the city of Las Vegas probably just makes it hard to see much of anything to a distance. But the views were very beautiful. I haven't really gotten out to appreciate them too much just because it was so darn windy, but I'm going to do that when I get out to film a little bit. I did run into the guy that somebody told me good morning while I was on my way up. He's the only person that I see in the register, assuming that's him. I signed at the register. I did see a couple other people coming down. They just might have not have signed the register, but I'm the only one up here right now, which I'm sort of surprised about. I thought, beautiful summer day, there'd be a ton of people up here. But it is a really long hike, so that might be why. Of course, since I'm on Charleston Peak, I have to enjoy a snack of Charleston Chew. I did have some jerky already, so I'm going to eat this, take some video, and then begin the long journey back down to my car. Whitney! I'm tearing up. You can see plane debris down there all the way up this hill. And I don't know what is what. I'm assuming that's a wing. That's unfortunately probably cockpit stuff or something. And so presumably the rest of the plane is elsewhere up here. I just don't know where. Maybe it fell down that gully down there. Trail's starting to get a little busy. I think about, I don't know, separately, like 4 or 5 groups, each of about 2 or 3 people just passed me. One poor guy thought that was the peak. I had to tell him, I had to let him down and tell him, nope, you got a lot longer to go and a lot more elevation to gain than that. All right, I was just resting in a shady spot over there, stretching my legs, taking some ibuprofen, drinking about half of my last water bottle, which is a big one. And we made it back to the trail intersection. Gonna head down, back to the parking lot. If I had to guess, I'm curious to know when I look up at home what the mileage and elevation splits are, but if I had to guess, it's about probably half the mileage, if not a little bit more. Or sorry, yeah, about half the mileage to get up to this spot, maybe a little bit less when you're going towards the peak. And then I'd guess it's about 3/5 of the elevation. If it's about 5,000 feet of gain, it's probably about 2,000 feet of gain to the summit proper, meaning that this was about 3,000 feet of gain, which sounds right, given that we're about 10,700 and started at about 7,600. So, yeah, hopefully this is further than the halfway point because my legs are super sore. That's why I took the ibuprofen. My knee, my left knee especially, is just, I think one of the things I've noticed is, I think to overcompensate for my bum ankle, my left knee seems to get sore very quickly. So, I do not think we'll have any trouble getting down. Just, I would like if I didn't have to take any more breaks, maybe a short one just to finish off my water. Almost at the bottom. It's nice seeing these views that I couldn't see this morning because it was too dark. To quote the most famous resident of Pahrump, Nevada, which is one of the towns we saw from the peak of Charleston Peak, from the high desert in the great American Southwest. This is Nate, signing off.